it's Colleen from the Crafty Basement. We are going to do card number 3 in my November stamp set of the month club. So here it is here. So colorful. The stamp set in November is the Merry Mistletoe stamp, Merry Mistletoe. And this one, last card, is basically 1, 2, well, I guess 3 different stamps, but they've been a lot of fun to do, and I'm glad that you're here with me so I can show them to you. Let me show the parts we'll be using today. We are going to be using a piece of Whisper White that's 11.5 by 4.25, and that is our base folded in half. Then we'll be using a piece of cherry cobbler, and that measures 4 by 5.25. Okay, and then we'll be using a Whisper White at 1.25 square. Then we have the Garden Green at 1.5 square, and we have cherry cobbler at 2-inch square, and that's going to make this part of the card here. Then the other layers we'll be using, we have the white at 3 by 4.25, and then we have eighths, so we have 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. And this is crushed curry, and we have that at 3.25 by 4.5. Also a strip of the Garden Green at 1/4 inch by anywhere bigger than 3 inches. I also will be using the double stitched ribbon in Cherry Cobbler and in Daffodil Delight. Okay, so let's get the cards started and set these up over here. As I mentioned before, the only stamping on the front of the card is going to be in Garden Green, and that's going to be with the Christmas tree stamp. I'm going to ink up that stamp. Make sure that there's nothing around on the edges. And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. There we go. I'm going to peel this off, and while we're stamping, I'm going to put the greeting on the bottom, and that's going to be Christmas wishes. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to put that at the bottom of the white panel, Whisper White panel. Make sure I get the little bits of green off the bottom. Well, my Stamp of the Month Club is $35 a month, and you get with that a stamp set, and in this case it's this one. And then you get all of the supplies that you need to make 3 different cards. And with that you get a PDF with the picture and the instructions and all of the measurements, and then you'll be getting the videos on how to make it as well. So, okay, for this we're finished here. The inside just has, well, might as well do that too. So we have a sentiment. Should read you that. It says, wishing you and your loved ones a joyful Christmas and a happy new year. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to put this little flourish thing on either side of it and just leave it in green. I think I'm only going to do one this time. So that's the inside. Oh, we are done with our stamping. Okay, now we're going to get some layering done. We're going to put some of the Tombow adhesive on the back of the 1 by 1.25 by 1.25. We're going to layer that onto the Garden Green. And again, layer this onto the 2x2 square of the cherry cobbler. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this because that will be popped up when we put it onto the base card. Okay, we'll set that aside. I'll close up my stamp pad. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the white cinnamon and we're going to figure out where the middle of this is, and I'm going to put it here so that I can kind of see where the middle is. And what I'm going to do here, along here, is take the strip of the garden green, and I'm going to attach it to the middle here. And I'm going to fold it over the edges. Make sure that it's straight, which I don't think it is. Nope, the side needs to go up a little bit. Oh well, it's going to have to be a little bit crooked. Okay, and then I'm going to be taking the ribbon, and that got very frayed here. Cut off the end, and I'm going to add some of the Tombow mainly to the edges. I'm going to layer the yellow on the top. Bring that around the back. I just thought it added a pop of color with that. I actually really liked it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the, put the mono adhesive on the, or the snail. And place that underneath the green. And wrap the edges underneath. My next will be now to layer all of this together. So we're going to take again the mono adhesive. We're going to put a bunch of it down and layer it onto the green. Now this one was only 1/8 of an inch difference around the edges. I didn't want that much of a border around the edges here. Once we have that, we're going to take again, put mono adhesive around the edges. A little goes a long way. Put that on the crushed curry. And we're going to take this crushed curry while we're at it. And this was the big 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to layer it. Make sure the sentiment's there. We're going to layer it on this card. Now, if you see on this one, it has more of a border around the edges than this one here. I'm going to pop this one up with the dimensionals as well. And I'm going to adhere that. To the front of my card. See all the layers and all the different in between? I just think that's so cool. Then I'm going to add the last piece on here. And voila, there we go. I'm glad that you joined us. If you would like to go to my blog, it's The Crafty Basement, or www.thecraftybasement, and see what I have in store. You can get some information about my stamp set of the month And December, we won't do Christmas card. We'll probably be doing something wintry. So thanks for watching.